I see in Jamaica where people are protesting because KFC have decided that they want to lay off people. It begs a question, who takes one for the team? When will the rich people take one for the team? For years we've been told as poor people that you need to save for a rainy day. What what have the major corporations been doing with their rainy day savings? Because the world plunged into a depression, say 2006 or 07, but for the past 10 years we have come out of it, where major corporations have been reporting billions of dollars in quarterly profits. What have you done with all that money? Right? We see where the airlines are having to be bailed out, airports and major banks and all these financial institutions that have been reporting billions of dollars in profits are having to be bailed out. And you ask a question, why? Simply put, greed. And I'm fearful that from Jamaica to here in the United States to Europe to wherever, Asia, Africa, the measures that we have taken and the sacrifices made as a people collectively are not going to benefit the poor. This austerity measures that we took, these austerity measures that we've taken on as a people, where we've decided to stay home and not go to work and social distance, physical and all that kind of stuff, is not going to redound to much of a benefit. Why? Because in 2008, when the world, in 07, 06, 07, 06, 07, 08, when the world plunged into a depression, we saw where the federal government started to make moves, what I'd consider token gestures, where they would say to the banks federally, okay, we want you to extend the life of loans of people who had mortgages, or make these fixed mortgages and that kind of stuff. And it really didn't work. Why? Because they were asking these institutions instead of mandating them to do it. We see the same thing now here in the United States, where the governors across different states are saying to the landlords, don't kick out the tenants. You can't forcibly evict anybody before the end of June. So the question is, when the end of June comes, which is just around the corner, what's going to happen? Because these people haven't been earning all this time. So what are they going to do? Instead of mandating that you can't, what I think they should do, maybe until September, say for instance, no banks, no financial institution is allowed to collect any loans. And the government can work out a package with these people. You can't collect any loans. So that way, the burden being placed on the landlords by the financial institutions or to whomever they're indebted is not passed on to the tenants. That's the way to do it. So you stop their concern, you stop the concern of the small man. In 2008 as well, at the end of the back end of the financial recession, a lot of people were kicked out of their homes. The banks foreclosed a lot of properties despite what I'd consider the token gestures of the government. There was nothing that mandated people to act a certain way, but they were just pleading to the conscience of mankind, and we clearly don't have any, because the rich people always want to have more. And that is why now we're in a situation where we have what I'd consider an induced coma, economic coma, for the last 3 to 4 months. And the best move by these major corporations that have been reporting billions of dollars in profits quarterly is to lay off people, to send them home to suffer even more. Because, of course, as we try to see the light of hope now, having sacrificed so much to stay home, socially distant, can you imagine at the end of this, you're still going to lose your property, you're going to lose your car, your house is going to be foreclosed. Can you imagine that? Suicide went up in 2008 at the in the height of the global economic recession, and I dare say it's going to happen again. It is going to happen again. Airlines are having to be bailed out. Why can't they take one for the team? Why? What have you done with all these billions of dollars in profits that you've been reporting quarterly for the last 10 years? And of course, in Jamaica, KFC is a place to be and be seen. For years, people have been flocking to that food chain. That's a place, and so clearly they've earned a decent cut from the country. You can't band your belly for the next 3 to 4 months and say, oh, we're going to keep these people. Of course, I know you are committed to your investors, and of course, people who invest deserve to get that kind of return on their monies. But you can do something. Take one for the team. And as we continue to find ourselves in this new norm, there is this constant beating of the drum of fear that the coronavirus is going to come back in the fall, or we can't go back to normal unless we have a vaccine. And then there are people now talking about vaccines with the financial might, i.e. Bill Gates, who's going to come and, oh, he's supporting research in vaccine. Why don't you take some of your billions and actually invest it in communities that need that investment? Invest in schools and roads and in these communities that you so are seeking to help, or these African countries that you claim you want to help via research. It's a sham. But I digress. The fact is, we need as a people, it is just greed that has gotten us into this position, and we need to come out from under this carpet of always wanting to have too much. So that's why you find that now the economy comes to a standstill for a little bit, and all these people in the top 1% are ready to send workers home, furlough them, layoffs, go home, go and starve even further. Why? And yet still the government stands idly by and come out with these, okay, we're giving these stimulus checks for $1,200. How far can that go? How far can that really go? That $1,200 is just some people's rent for 1 month. What should they do after that? They have other bills, so they have car loans, bank loans, all these other loans. So what happens? $1,200 pay the rent for a month. What do you do? So put things in place, laws in place to protect the vulnerable, instead of appealing to a conscience that is not there in these financial institutions. Oh, please don't do this. Please don't do that. Oh, you can't. When the civil emergency ends, then the people are back to the mercy of the mercenary. Do something. Help us. Or else we're going to lose a lot of people to suicides and all that kind of stuff, just like what happened at the back end of the financial recession in 2008. And that's not what I'm asking for. But we are seeing the very same signs that led us into that position. And it's unfortunate that even after making all this sacrifice, the people will still not see the benefits of it.